Welcome to the fourth course, high impact presentation. Wow. Sometimes in actually delivering a winning sale, you need to actually do a presentation. You need to stand in front of people and deliver that perfect pitch. It's not about having the best product, the best service, but how you actually convince those that are listening to you. How you present it, how you portray it, how you bring it forward to them can be integral in them deciding that yes, they want to take your product or service. You may actually be in competition with other organizations or other salespersons who are delivering the same product. So why should they pick you? Well, I'm going to run through 10 steps that's going to make sure that you deliver an effective presentation. First thing is, find your own style. I'm stood here speaking with you today. I'm not trying to be like anyone else. I'm being myself. If you want an example of it, I don't know if you're into DC movies, I'm a Batman fan. And I've watched the likes of Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Val Kilmer. All of them have played fantastic Batman actors. Maybe some will agree, some won't. But in my opinion, they've all been amazing actors. But each of them have found their own style. Each of them have portrayed Batman, but incorporated their own style. And that leads to the second point of being yourself. There's a common line that I like to use, which is be yourself, everyone else is taken. If you try and come across as somebody else, or you've watched someone else deliver and you try and do it the way they do, and it's not really you, you have to understand that in sales, you're very transparent. People can see right through you, especially if you're presenting to a room or to a group of people where you're trying to actually sell a product. If you're not being yourself, it's gonna come across. So find your own style and be yourself. The third part is actually to practice. I would say about 3 times. Having a perfect pitch, having a way that you've delivered it, you've got your style, you know how you're gonna come across. Don't think that, I've got it in 1 go or even 2 goes. I mean, even 3 times may not be enough. What I would suggest is practice until you can flow. It should come across the way I'm coming across to you now. Unscripted, like I'm just flowing. Sometimes you might make mistakes, you might fall off a little bit. That's all normal. In fact, it's very humane and something which people who are listening to you or any prospects would expect. So make sure you practice at least 3 times. Now, if you are going to deliver a presentation, it's very important that you know your audience. Who are you delivering to? If I'm going to, for example, pitch a product that I know the customers there are probably aged between 40 to 60, and my presentation involves a lot about social media, where I'm going to be talking about Snapchat and Twitter, I need to really understand my audience. Does my audience here use Snapchat and Twitter? Are they from an era where it's more about pen and paper? Are they more about emails? If you catch my meaning here, the main thing I'm trying to say is you don't want to be talking deep and going into detail about things that your audience can't relate to. So make sure you know your audience. That way your style, you're yourself, you're actually bringing forth the product, but it's something that's relatable. And that comes in some of the things we spoke about in the previous course about the fundamentals of being sales. It's really understanding who you're targeting and then delivering that perfect pitch to them. Now, once you've known your audience, you're there on the day and you're delivering your presentation, you need to engage your audience. Engage your audience. You don't want people sat there feeling bored. Sometimes it involves taking maybe some print-offs that you can hand out to them, or having like an effective slide that, you know, as you're discussing, they can look at and they can feel engaged. Or if you're really confident like myself and you feel like you can talk and engage them by speaking to them, then make sure you do so. Making eye contact, moving around. And my next point, making sure that you fluctuate your voice. Yes, you need to speak loudly. Sometimes you also need to bring it down a bit. Have you ever been in a presentation where you find that your mind has drifted and suddenly you're brought back in? That's because the speaker has possibly fluctuated their voice. They've probably honed in and said, this is a very important part you need to pay attention to. Be a sensei of sales. I've caught your attention by raising my voice. The next point is speak loudly, speak clearly. What you don't want is delivering a perfect pitch. You've got beautiful slides, you've got a great product, and I'm sat there and I can't really hear you. You sound shy. Sales is about confidence. So speak loudly and speak clearly. Make sure that you're heard. And in doing all of that, you want to apply the next point. That's right. Learn to pause. Sometimes when you're delivering a pitch or you're doing a presentation, they've been listening to your voice. As you're listening to me now, I'm going on, and then it starts sounding a bit monotone. The brain naturally switches off. So what you do at that point is it's very important that you learn to pause. In sales, I tend to try and drop the pause aspect when I've delivered all the benefits and advantages of the product or service I'm selling. And I'm leaving them for a minute for that to just settle with them. And what I do at that stage is I pause. And then continue again. By knowing when to pause and applying a pause, it can be such an effective tactic to use, not just in doing a presentation, but actually when selling a product. The next part of actually delivering a high impact presentation is don't do death by PowerPoint slides. Don't do too many slides. I tend to advise for people to do maybe about 10 slides, try and keep it concise, try and stick to the point, and make sure that the slides that you're using they literally just have reference points that give you the information you need to then flow. It should be more coming from you and less coming from the slides. Don't have 30, 40, 50 slides with too much, making it text heavy, too much information. No, it should be just quick 4 pointers. And what you want to do or be able to do is once you've then finished your presentation is these slides can be then emailed, or you can give them a link where they can download the content to be able to acquire the information. But the majority of the information you're giving is coming directly from you. Remembering to fluctuate your voice, speak clearly, and knowing when to pause. Now the last part, and I think this is really important and something that you're seeing a lot more on social media these days, and that's opening with a personal story. If I'm starting my presentation and I'm speaking to you, you need to know who I am. What am I about? Why am I here? Why am I the best person to actually deliver this presentation to you? So open with a personal story. The best thing you can do with sales is to let a person know. If you recall from the previous course that we delivered just now, we were talking about not making your sale about the money. You're making it more about why you can actually provide a solution. Maybe you had the same issue that the people you're presenting to had, and that's what initiated you to actually come up with this solution that you're offering. So open with a personal story. It's a perfect way to engage with your audience for them to understand that, wow, this person really knows his product or service and is delivering it to us and offering us a perfect solution. By opening with a personal story, you're more than likely to win over the customers. And something I think you should make sure you do right at the start, once you've introduced yourself and you said what you're here to do, then go on with a personal story and engage your audience. These 10 steps are what are going to give you the upper hand when doing a presentation, and something that I've used countless times to win contracts with large organizations such as housing associations, schools, colleges, and government funded, where you need to actually deliver every aspect of the product or service that you're offering. A simple phone call won't do it. You need to get in front, apply these 10 steps, and you'll be a sensei of sales. Thanks for listening.